morning. Hi everyone, it's Tanya from Tanya Kraus Horsemanship, and you are joining me for an episode of the Tanya Training Diaries or the Millie Diaries, or you could be watching this as a part of a trailer loading preparation educational video. That's obviously what we're covering today. Here I've got Millie. Some of you might have followed the Millie Diaries previously, where I set 4 goals for a 30-day period, and we set about chipping away at those goals, which were Millie being wormed, being more confident around people, being caught, and having her feet done. So those 30 days worth of videos are up on the YouTube channel if any of you care to have a look at that. It was a really cool process, and each day I worked her for less than 10 minutes a day. So it was really an exercise in showing that you can really chip away at your horse's education with not very much time per day. So what I'm really looking to do now is get Millie ready for trailer loading. So there's a few prerequisites that I'm just trying to chase another horse. There's a few prerequisites that we can do before we even need to get started with the trailer. So the first one that I need is that my horse is willing to follow the direction that I ask of her in the halter. So that might start with a lateral bend. It might expand to her being able to be led around me in a circle or lunge around me in a circle. Okay, so the prerequisites for this video or for this exercise that I'm about to show you, is that the horse is relatively in the halter and that she's fairly willing to be guided to and fro. If your horse is not doing that already, then I wouldn't be attempting to do the next series, which is the next step, which is to work with that blue barrel that you can see there in the background. So the first thing you want is a little bit of obedience, I guess, from your horse, a little bit of respect, and a little bit of willingness and understanding when it comes to the halter and any directions that I give her. So again, she doesn't need to be perfect. You might be working with a young horse or a baby or something like that. They don't have to be a schoolmaster at being in the halter, but if you've got a horse that's pulling on the halter and things like that, then you're really starting from behind the 8 ball. So once you've got that established, and you'll probably find there's plenty of other videos on my channel or in the Patreon that can help you with those kind of things with the horse staying in the halter. What we're working on now is the claustrophobia aspect of trailer loading. So I've got this blue barrel set up behind me here, and what I'm going to ask Millie to do is simply lunge between the barrel and the fence. Okay, so that was fairly simple. She didn't seem too bothered by that. I've got it set at a reasonable distance. It's probably maybe nearly 1.5 meters or something away from the fence, and you can see that what I'm trying to do is stay relatively still, and I'm guiding her through that. So I'm staying in the one spot and I'm lunging her between the barrel and the fence. So as she comes through for one last pass, I'm going to go ahead and ask her to change direction. Now sometimes we've done this exercise before with, she doesn't have to trot, walk, but I'm not going to correct her for trotting. Because I don't want to tell her that willingness, I don't want to tell her that willingness is incorrect on her part. So I've got the barrel set about 1.5 meters away from the fence. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit just so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close that gap. Now, if my horse was bothered at this stage, what I would do is I would get what I just got achieved, and as she went through the gap, I would stop her. And I'm going to try and not stop her by disengaging her, because obviously once she's in a trailer, she's not going to be able to disengage. But in these really early stages, I'm not going to be too pedantic about it, but I'm not actually going to cue her to disengage. So if she was really worried about that gap, and you can tell by the body language if she's sort of tense or bracing or not wanting to go through the gap, or I'm having to sort of really ask her to go through that gap, then I would leave it there. I would stop, let her relax, and reward her for trying to go through that size gap. The exercise today is to find the point where she might be finding it a little bit challenging, get her confident with that, and then quit the session. It's not about building all the way up to the float loading today. Okay, that's why we're doing the training. So we know that we're doing the training before we actually need to get it done. Now, Millie has been on a trailer a few times. Most recently, we had some evacuation issues. So now I'm moving that barrel. I've got a horse trying to smell the camera. I've moved that barrel closer to the fence, and we'll see how she goes with that. Now you can see there that my arena isn't manicured. Yeah, there's quite long grass sticking up around the logs and things like that. I don't actually mind that. I think it's going to help to just sensitize her to things touching her legs. If she got in the trailer and her leg touched the wall or the divider or something like that, I don't need her panicking about that. So the conditions don't have to be absolutely perfect for this. So I'm going to lead her up to the barrel and lead her through. Now you can see there that she touched it because she obviously thought that the barrel was a lot further away as it was before. And again, now what I like by her touching that is that she's not actually panicking. So I'm going to actually turn her around and ask her to go through the other way. Now she's that little bit more anxious on this side, that's why she's trotting. Good. And so what I did there was I rewarded her for walking. I'm just going to put her back to where she was. What I did there was I rewarded her for walking by walking away. Okay, so I am going to leave it there today. I'm actually really happy with that kind of progress. You don't have to get it to some, crazy, you don't have to get it all done today. She displayed a little bit of like, oh, I feel like I need to trot, which she obviously did on the right hand side with the bigger gap as well. And it could just be a right rein thing. It might have nothing to do with the gap whatsoever. But what we're going to do over the coming days is just chip away, and I'm going to show you how with just a few things like a barrel and a couple of poles and things like that, that you can start to really get your horse confident with going into that claustrophobic area without needing to have your trailer hooked on and things like that all the time. So thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to sharing the next episode with you.